After breaking up with his intensely obsessive girlfriend, a man's desperate attempts to start a new life are systematically dismantled, proving that no matter how far he runs, he can't escape the woman who has decided their story isn't over. I dated Marissa for about a year and a half. In the beginning, she felt like a lightning storm. Wild, intense, hard to look away from. Everything was passionate. She'd leave sticky notes with intricate hand-drawn flowers and lines of poetry on my bathroom mirror. She learned my coffee order after 1 week and would have it waiting on my desk some mornings, a silent, steaming offering. She'd text me every single night, without fail, a simple, sweet dreams. It felt romantic, intoxicating, like something out of a movie. But intensity like that has a flip side, a dark underbelly. She didn't do calm. There was no neutral ground. Everything was either a soaring, cinematic triumph or a complete, soul-crushing disaster. If I took more than 10 minutes to reply to a text, my phone would light up with a cascade of notifications. First worried, then accusatory, then deeply, performatively apologetic. It was like being strapped to a mood-swinging pendulum I couldn't get off of. I made excuses for her, to myself and to my friends. She's just passionate. She's been through a lot. She has abandonment issues. Whatever helped me sleep at night. The excuses ran out the week she showed up at my office twice. The first time she brought lunch, all smiles and charm. The second, just 2 days later, she stood across the street, partially hidden by a tree, just watching the entrance. When I called her, she answered brightly, "Just wanted to make sure you were really at work. I worry." That's when the lightning storm started to feel less like a spectacle and more like a house fire. I ended it at my apartment. I tried to be gentle, to be clear. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just stared at me, her expression unnervingly blank, and said, "You think it's over for you, but it's not over for me." The words hung in the air, cold and heavy, long after she'd left. I moved out the next month, changed my number, found a new apartment across town in a building with a security guard. I figured the silence and distance would force her to get tired and move on. She didn't. It started with letters, slipped between my door and the frame, bypassing the mail system entirely. No stamp, no return address. The first was sweet, nostalgic. "I miss the way you hum when you make coffee." The second was weirder, a violation. "You always check the door 3 times before bed. You probably don't even notice you do it, but I do." The third one made my blood run cold. "You wore your blue hoodie Monday, the one with the small hole in the left sleeve. You should sew that up before it gets worse." That was the day I'd driven to a grocery store in a suburb 30 minutes away, specifically to avoid familiar places. I hadn't seen a single person I knew, but she had seen me. I moved again, fast. This wasn't just across town. This was a fresh start. New city, Denver, new job, no social media presence, no forwarding address. I bought a burner phone and gave the number to only my mom and my brother, swearing them to secrecy. I started over completely. For nearly a year, there was nothing. No letters, no sightings, no whispers in the dark. The knot in my stomach finally began to loosen. I started sleeping through the night. I let my guard down enough to feel anonymous, to feel free. Then I grew a beard. And one cold October evening, I came home from work to a small yellow sticky note on my apartment door, affixed at eye level. The handwriting was unmistakable. "I don't like the beard." I stared at it until the words blurred. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic, trapped bird. She'd found me. After all that, she'd found me. I tore it off, crumpled it in my fist, and spent the night with every light in the apartment on, jumping at every creak and groan of the building. The next morning, I shaved, my hands shaking so badly I cut myself twice. When I went to my car, there was another note, tucked under the windshield wiper. Better. I went to the police. I showed them the notes. A kind but weary officer listened patiently. "There's no explicit threat here, son. She says she doesn't like your beard. It's weird, I'll grant you, but it's not a crime." I asked about a restraining order. He sighed. "Do you have proof she was here? A photo? A witness?" I didn't. Not really. Just 2 sticky notes and a story that sounded like paranoia. I broke my lease and moved again, this time to the mountains, a quiet, isolated cabin 3 hours outside the city. I paid for the first 6 months in cash. No name on the mailbox. I bought a rescue dog, a big German Shepherd mix named Bear, for security and companionship. I told no one where I was except my brother, and I made him swear on our father's grave. For 6 weeks, it was perfect. Snow, silence, the crackle of the fireplace, the comforting weight of Bear sleeping at the foot of my bed. I felt safe, hidden. Then one night, Bear went berserk. It was 3 a.m., the dead of winter. He shot up from a deep sleep, hair on his back raised, and launched himself at the front door, barking with a ferocity I'd never heard before. It wasn't a squirrel bark. This was a raw, guttural, end-of-the-world sound. I grabbed the heavy maglite from the nightstand, my heart pounding in my throat. I crept to the door and peered through the peephole. Nothing but blackness and falling snow. I flicked on the porch light. Empty. I calmed Bear down, my hand trembling on his back. I told myself it was a coyote, a bear, anything. But I didn't sleep again. The next morning I saw them. Footprints. Fresh. Human. Circling the cabin. They went from the front door to the living room window, then to the bedroom window, then back again. A perfect, predatory loop. That same afternoon, I was packing, frantically throwing clothes and essentials into duffel bags. I didn't wait for sunset. As I was about to unplug the coffee maker, a strange smell hit me. Gas, faint but sharp. My stove was electric, but the cabin had a propane heater in the corner. I walked over. The pilot light was out. The dial for the gas flow was turned halfway to open, silently, patiently filling the small cabin. She had been inside while I slept. She had stood in my small, safe space and turned a dial that could have killed me. I didn't pack another thing. I grabbed Bear, my wallet, my keys, and I ran. I drove back to my hometown, the gas smell haunting me for all 5 hours. I moved in with my brother and his 3 ex-military roommates. Their house is a fortress of pickup trucks, massive flags, and gun safes. It's the kind of place people don't mess with. I haven't seen a letter since. I haven't found a note. But every night, when I'm the last one awake and I walk through the quiet house, I double-check the door lock. Then I check it again, and a third time. And I still wonder if she's watching from somewhere I can't see. And if she ever decides, it's not over for her either. So check your locks and glance over your shoulder. You never know who might be watching from somewhere you can't see, just waiting for the right moment. Because for some people, it's never really over. For more stories that will haunt your quiet moments, be sure to subscribe.